When it comes to PvP multiplayer, we can't all be legends, so here are a few tips to help you succeed out on Minecraft's new battlefield. First thing you need to do in any Minecraft Legends match is converse with your teammates on who is focusing on what role. Each of your team needs to be focusing on one of three things to begin with. There's the scout, who needs to be exploring the land and pinging the enemy base, any piglin bases, and resources. The miner needs to stick near the base and use allays to gather as much stone and wood as possible. You won't be able to gather anything else right away, so just focusing on those two fundamental materials is a necessity. Finally, the builder needs to get to work on creating your very first defenses, starting up with walls.
We'll get into more detail on each of these shortly, but first of all, you need to know this. Communication is absolutely the name of the game when it comes to Minecraft Legends. If you don't fancy being on mic, there is a simple pinging system which hopefully you're used to from other games, and you can let people know if you need certain materials or you want to let your teammates know what's on the map. But however you talk to them, make sure you let them know what you're doing. In a 2v2 match, you can always make sure you go for a bit of a hybrid, but in a 4v4, you can have two resource builders. But look, you just need to communicate clearly, otherwise you might end up running around and doing the same thing. Now, the scout is super important, as getting a clear sense of the map is vital in any strategy game, especially since the maps in Minecraft Legends are always procedurally generated. That means that they're all different. Locating coal, iron, diamond, and redstone deposits will help with the resource management side of things, while you should also keep an eye out for red thorn bushes. They will damage and slow any player that travels through them. It's also a good idea for the scout to look for treasure chests that spawn randomly across the map. This is a great way to secure some loot early in the match.
Okay, while we're on exploration, something you'll find across the overworld are various mounts. These are well worth seeking out, as they allow you to travel faster, jump higher, or even glide across the map. The Regal Purple Tiger is the fastest mount on land, and so is great for covering the map more quickly, whereas this rainbow bird can be especially handy for nipping into an enemy base just to see what they're working on, as it can leap over the walls. The beetle is good on water and also has a decent glide on it too. A good mount can be a real lifesaver when the enemy has you outmatched and you just need to make a quick getaway. I mean, it's always better that you live to Minecraft another day.
Look out for the glowing grass and mushrooms found throughout the map as well. This is important. It will allow you to travel faster and jump higher for a brief duration. This is real-time strategy after all, so anything that puts that little extra pep in your step is well worth prioritizing. Just be sure not to build anything too close to those mushrooms, as they'll be able to be leapt over in a single bound. Now, speaking of building, PvP is as much about protecting your tower as it is about attacking your enemies, which is why the builder is so important right away. This is what the builder should be building first. Focus on building walls to begin with, all around the tower. Try to have at least 3 rings around it, each with gates in different places. This means that even once they break through your initial defenses, they'll have a hell of a time going all the way around to try and get through to the good stuff. The ability to act quickly and decisively becomes even more important as each match heats up, so it's a good idea to customize your hotbar by opening up the songbook with a click of the right stick, and then you focus on either the buildings you'll be crafting regularly or the ones that you're currently to get so that you always have them to hand.
The masonry and kaboomery are well worth investing in, allowing you to turn your wooden defenses into stone and also add explosive damage to the projectiles fired by your arrow towers, scatter towers, and redstone cannons. To do this, you'll need to invest in improvement hubs, which work sort of like research laboratories. Get coal and iron first, as these are important for both offense and defense. Once you've got your iron to build your masonry, place it as close to the 3 inner walls and your outer walls as possible, as these are the most important places to get upgraded. With these in play, anyone who attacks you will find themselves caught between a rock and a highly combustible place. But you can't just stand around defending all day though. Eventually, you're going to need to attack. When it comes time to go on the offense, try to find a good place to set up some cobblestone golem spawners so that you can start hammering the enemy's tower as early as possible, preventing them from getting any momentum going and giving you an early upper hand. As you get towards the mid-game stage of the match, after about 10 minutes, you'll want to start getting some offense set up around the map. Build some arrow towers and spawners around them, and you'll now be able to launch assaults on enemy towers much more efficiently.
But look, as all OG Minecrafters will know, there's nothing quite like the silent advance of a creeper to throw you off your rhythm, or it's, just quite terrifying. But in Minecraft Legends, these green ghouls are admittedly quite expensive to spawn, but but they're well worth the investment because they are so good at smashing up enemy fortifications. So as long as you've got a steady supply of coal to keep it running, a well-placed creeper spawner near the enemy base, protected by arrow towers if you can, is sure to give your enemies all kinds of headaches. And for the best results, use a creeper to instantly blow a hole in the walls of an enemy base, then send in some stone golems to wreak havoc on the inside. And for the most important tip using creepers, do not use them for normal combat. They're kind of like a one-hit, one deal. Anyway, you want to go instead with cobblestone and plank golems in the early game, and zombies and skeletons later. They do the same thing, but with a bit more heft and weight. But as tempted as you might be to focus all your energy on rival players, you've got to keep a handle on that piglin situation, especially once they're powered up and started sending out more formidable enemies and explosive projectiles.
The last thing you want is to end up pinned down by both an enemy player and a piglin horde at the same time, so it can be a good idea to have someone attack any AI outposts intermittently just to keep them at bay, especially near their horde portals, which you can see on the map right here. Keep an eye on their movements throughout the game and you should have no problem sending those little piggies crying wee 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 all the way home. Keep these tips in mind and there won't be a player or a piglin in the whole wide overworld that dares to stand against you. Probably. Feel free to share any of your own hard-won tactical wisdom in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell. Bye!